So on today's video, we will be going over Genesis chapter 17. We'll start with verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God, walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. So even with all the sins that Abram has done, God is still blessing him. And I think partly it's because Abram would still humble himself before God. We all make mistakes. We all do things we shouldn't. But a lot of times we let that distance us from God. But I think Abram, even through his mistakes, he stayed faithful to God, it looks like. So he says, Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee. So he's changing his name to indicate, the change in the status, I guess. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. So he's going to have a lot of children and children's children and grandchildren and so forth. And a lot of them will be very, very royal. They'll be kings. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee and thy generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised. And for those who don't know what circumcised is, they are getting ready to explain it. It says, And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token to the covenant between me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house, or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. So, to show or to carry on his covenant to the children, they would have to be circumcised, basically. He says that it happened when they're 8 years old, and even ones who were not born into the family, those who were brought in, needed to have it done. So it says, He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man-child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. So anybody who wasn't circumcised would not be part of the covenant with God. And God said unto Abraham, and I guess I've been pronouncing her name wrong the whole time. I've been calling her Sarah the whole time. I guess her name is Sarai or Sarai, thy wife. Thou shalt not call her Sarah, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give thee a son also of her. I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abram fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old, and shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? So this is quite a moment here, because a lot of us, we may think things that we shouldn't. We may, a lot of things run through our mind that shouldn't when it concerns God, and we think it's just our thoughts. But Abraham went straight out, fell on his face in front of God, and laughed at God and said in his heart. So he felt it deep inside. I'm 100 years old. How are you going to give me a child? And Sarah's 90. How is she going to be able to give birth to a child? I mean, it says right here, Abram just laughed right in his face. And Abraham said unto God, Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. And God said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. So God didn't forget about Ishmael. Ishmael was going to be a hard person to get along with, but at the same time, God is going to bless him with his generations. Will have 12 kings will come from him. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year. And he left off talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day as God had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. In the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house, born in the house, and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him. So even though Abraham laughed at everything, Abraham still did what he was told to do. So I'm sure that had a lot to do with why God was favorable to him, because Abraham may have been very opinionated and may have made some mistakes, but at the end of the day, he would do what he was told to do. So that wraps it up for this one. We will see you in the next one.